So yeah, so welcome. And Amy's working with systems. I'm working with systems. I think Joe Anstein's been working with systems as probably as well as some other circuit riders. So there's a lot of people out here that can help you. If we don't know, we'll stumble through it together and figure it out. Okay. Uh, we are recording this session, just so you know, and it will be available probably next week sometime. Depends on when Andy can get to it to get it edited and posted. We will post the PowerPoint presentation to our downloads section on our website later today, so you can see the PowerPoint. Okay. So there's going to be some stuff that you can see. One thing I'm going to say right off the bat, if you are a public water supply district, you do not have to do this reporting. So this does not apply to you. Okay. So you're welcome to stay, but you're not going to have to do this. Even if you got money from your county, you have to report to your county, and then your county reports on the ARPA money. So water districts, it's up to you, but you do not have to stay because this will not apply to you. Okay. All right. We are going to get started with the PowerPoint. Some of you have done this already. I know we've got like Val from Otterville. Val's on there. I saw Val. She's done this. There she is. And so she knows how this is done too. And I'm sure some of you do. So if we say something that's not correct, or you've got a little tips and trick comment to make, feel free to join in. Okay. So we're going to start with the PowerPoint. Okay. Can everybody see? Can everybody see the PowerPoint? Yes? Okay.
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay, so now everybody's gotten their first half, the first half of their ARPA allocation. And you're going to get your second half, plus you got a supplement. If you didn't notice, you got a little supplement from the systems that didn't accept their funds. The state reallocated what was left over and sent you some more. You're going to get the other half of your allotment about 12 months from when you got your first one. So you need to be watching for that. Okay. Hang on a second, people. So my computer is about to die. So let me plug it in before I lose you. That's one glitch we don't need.
While Liz is getting her computer up and running, if you're having audio issues, you won't be able to hear me, but I put some instructions in the chat box for those that are experiencing audio issues. Usually it's a quick fix.
Okay. All right, so let's talk about the ARPA reporting. I'm back. I think I've got my power. Okay. All right. Basic stuff. These reports are due by April 30th. So in a couple weeks, okay? You have to do them online. There is no paper to submit. You have to do them online, okay? The reporting period that this covers is March 3rd of 2021 through March 31st of 2022, okay? That is the reporting period that you need to report on. From this point forward, you're going to have to do an annual report, a project and expenditures report that's going to be due every April 30th until I assume until 2020, probably 2027 or the end of 2026. Okay. Municipalities and counties must do this reporting because you are the direct recipients of the ARPA funds. Water districts or other agencies who receive pass-through funds from your county or another city, you don't have to do this. You cities If you got your own ARPA money, if you got ARPA money from the county in addition, you do not report on the county funds. You only report on the ARPA money that you directly receive from the state of Missouri. Okay? That's the money that you report on. And when we get into the actual portal, it'll give you the total amount of the ARPA funds you are going to receive in total. And that's the number that you use. Okay. Okay. Let me. Okay. All right. Now, first thing you've got to do is sign in and set up your credentials. Okay. I'm hoping that most of you have done this. If you did this way early on, you had to do it through id.me, but don't do that if you haven't. Don't go there. Okay. You want to use login.gov. Okay. Much simpler. So you will go to this website, https://portal.treasury.gov/compliance/s/ Okay, that is the website. So write that down. If you have not set up your credentials yet, this is the website to go to. That will take you to a page, and at the top of the page, it will say login.gov. Okay. If it says id.me at the top of the page, you are on the wrong page. Okay. So make sure you go to this website. Okay. If you go to login.gov, it will not ask you for any personal information. It will not ask you for a photograph. It will not ask you for a copy of your passport. None of that stuff. Okay. When you get there, it's pretty simple. You hit create an account. It wants an email. It wants a password. And okay. Now, here's what's critical. Okay. When you set this up, use the email address that you used when you set up your connection with the Office of Administration at the state of Missouri to get your original ARPA allocation. There were steps you had to go through, right, to get that. Mm-hmm. You want to use that same email address. Otherwise, this is not going to work. Okay. If you don't know what that email address was, you need to contact OA. I've got that information there in the next slide or so, and get it. Because if you use a different email address, it's not going to let you create this account. Okay. So use the email address that you used when you set up your account with the Office of Administration. Okay. You're going to get an error message after you get all the way through it and you hit submit. It's going to give you an error message if it's the wrong email address. Okay. So make sure you use that. Other place you can do is contact Treasury. Here's the email address for the Treasury help. They're very helpful. They're very responsive from what I understand. Or there is the phone number. Okay. So if you have any trouble with the Treasury website that we're gonna walk through, then these are two sources you can call, and they're set up to help you. And I think they're pretty quick. They'll get back with you within a day or so. So you don't want to put this off till the last day. Okay. You want to do this now. Okay. Part of that setting up the account, it's going to ask you for an authentication method, and it's going to give you several options. Okay. And this is just security. Treasury recommends, and I do too, it's probably the easiest way. And I don't know, Amy, probably most of yours have set it up to select the text or voice option. Okay. And then it's going to want a phone number. so if you go text or voice, put a phone number, it's going to call you every time you try to sign in. Then, or it's going to call you or text you an access code that you're going to have to put in when you sign in. Most of you probably already had that. Yeah,
And I don't
Amy?
think it'll let you do it if you have a VoIP phone service.
Oh, a VoIP, it won't let you do that.
It will. The city I did, it wouldn't let you do it, so she had to use her cell phone for a
Okay.
text.
Okay. So yeah, so just be aware that this is set up. So if it's your personal cell phone number, then that may be an issue. I've been at a couple of systems. They did phone and it called their office phone, but they weren't VoIP.
Right.
So
Landlines.
but think about it. You're going to have to do this every year now for the next 2 or 3 years. So it needs to be a phone number that's going to be available, because every time you log into this, you're going to have it's an access to that phone number to get your authentication code. Okay. So remember to do that. The other thing is, and I know cybersecurity people will strangle me, but write your username and password down somewhere and file it away, because if you're not there next year, if it's somebody else, you got to have that username and password for this website to get in. Okay. So, and you're only going to do this once a year. So again, make sure you put that in a safe place. Okay. So again, at the very end of this whole sign in, creating in the account thing, if you get an error message, it'll say, there's no contact information on file or something like that. It probably means you used the wrong email address. Okay. So make sure you do that. Okay. Okay. So once you get the login complete, okay, and you sign in, it's going to open up to a page where you can set up your contacts. And you fill in, there's 3 roles, okay? And so where you can designate additional users for this account. And when you get to that, you'll see it. There's a place to enter the name. And then there's a whole list of roles. You only want the SLFRF roles: SL Snake, Lake, SLF Frank, Ralph Frank. You only want those roles. And you would assign those roles to that person and then add another one and add another one. Okay. There's 3 roles. And it can be the same person for all 3. Okay. That's fine. They recommend that you set up probably 2 people for those roles, so that if something happens to you, there's somebody else that can get in and do what's necessary. Okay. And I think that's going to be pretty evident when you see that page. So, all right. Okay. Oops. Okay. Now, the Treasury itself has a couple of webinars that are really informative and with screenshots that can really help you. This is the website for that, where you can go to this page, scroll down until you see the word set webinar. And then there's one on setting up your credentials, login.gov. And then there's another webinar on completing the project and expenditure report, the reporting. They're very good. I've looked at them both a couple of times. Okay. And they're very informative. So you can go there. Okay. 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 I'm looking at the messages so I can, okay. So that's another resource for you. If you are MML members, Missouri Municipal League has done 2 webinars on reporting, okay? You can go to their website, I think, and access those webinars. They did one just yesterday and one the week before. So again, good information. So go to that one, okay? Now, when you're ready to submit your reports and do your reporting, again, this is the website you go to. It's the same one that you went to log in, to create your login, okay? Same site, except this time you're going to be able to put your username and your password in, okay? You put your username, password, sign in. It's going to call you on that phone number that you gave them or text you an authentication code in a box there to put that in, okay? And you can get in, okay? Now, there's 2 parts to this year's reporting. The first part is they want you to upload the documents that you sent to the Office of Administration in order to get your original allocation. There were 3 forms, if you recall. There was a terms and conditions form that you had to sign and submit back. There was a Title VI civil rights form that you had to sign and send back. And then you had to send in your budget or your financial report. Okay, those 3 documents you had to send to OA, right? The NEU agreements and supporting documents, those are the 3 documents they want. And let me see if I can get, what did I do with that? Hang on a second. I have a screenshot. Hang on. There it is. Okay. There we go. Okay, can everybody see that? Does everybody see that screenshot?
No.
I don't either.
No. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. I gotta share it. Hang on. I gotta hit the share button. Now can you see it?
Yes.
Okay. So this is a screenshot. Val from Otterville was gracious enough to share this with us. So when you log in to login.gov, this is the landing page, okay? And this is what you're going to see. You want to go to, you don't want to go to introduction. You want to go to your reports or compliance reports, either one, okay? And then you're going to see this next page where it's got 2 lines, basically 2 lines on it, right? And one of those lines says NEU agreements and supporting documents. Everybody see that? And if you click over here on the right, if you haven't done anything, that little dark blue dot will be a light blue with a pencil in it. Click that, okay? And it's gonna, let me see if she's got it here.
I don't because I
don't.
had already done it before.
You'd already done it, yeah, okay. Well, if you click that edit button, it's going to pop up a page and it's going to ask you, do you have these documents? Okay. And if you say yes, then it's going to have a place for you to upload. So you need to scan them and put them on your computer. Okay. And then you're going to go and click a box that says upload file and go find, there's 3 different uploads. Okay. And you will go and find your file and upload it into that page, okay? And it'll tell you if it uploaded the file, you'll know, okay? And then you submit it, all right? So that's all you have to do for that now, okay? So let me get back to our, okay. Okay. So the NEU agreements and supporting documents, that's those 3 documents that I just talked about. Okay. Now I've already run into somebody who said, I don't have those documents. Where do I get them? The Office of Administration said, if you don't have the ones that you sent them, and I think it's important that you send those in, especially that financial document, because that's what your award was based on. You can email arpa@oa.mo.gov and request a copy of your documents, and they will send them to you. Okay. Again, if you need that, you probably need to do it now, okay, to give them time to get that to you. Okay. So you can get a copy of them from the Office of Administration if you have to, if you don't have them. Right? Okay. So that is the NEU, and NEUs are, you guys, non-entitlement units of local government. That's the cities and the small cities and the counties. Okay. You're called NEUs to the Treasury. Okay.
Hey, Liz.
So, yeah.
You had a question. Does all this reporting, uploading documents, et cetera, need to be done in one setting, or can you leave and return?
I think you can save it and come back.
Yeah, I think it'll save it as you go.
Yeah, it'll save it as you go. So yeah. Because I think there's some that have put some of the information in and are waiting on other information, and it's there. So yes, you can save it and then come back to it. Okay. So once you get those 3 documents uploaded, you'll hit next. It'll take you to a certification page, and you certify it, and it's done. Now, one problem that we're running into with some systems is they go to certify it and they get an error message that the person who's doing this is not an authorized representative, and it won't let you do it. Okay. So what Treasury has said is to send them an email at that. Let me back up to this website, slfrp@treasury.gov, or call this number, and they will help you change your authorized representative if you didn't get that set up correctly, or that person is left or something. Okay. So that's another thing. When you get this all done and you hit submit and it gives you the error message that you're not the authorized representative, then you're probably going to need to contact Treasury. And get that changed. And I think, Val, didn't you say you ran into that? You were helping somebody?
Yep, I was helping another system, and that was their issue. And we just emailed it over to them, and they were able to get us fixed within, really like maybe 4 or 5 business hours.
Okay. So yeah, they're very responsive. So, and they'll help you with other issues also, not just that one. So,
I did put COP, contact of what COPs for reporting in the box.
The subject line. The subject line. Yeah. Yeah, I think you said you put POCs for reporting in the subject. POCs is in point of contact for reporting in the subject line, and they got back with you really quickly on that. And I'm going to guess the email is probably quicker than even calling them on the phone, you guys. So, okay. Okay. So that is uploading your documents, okay, that you had. Now, the second part of the reporting is where you actually tell them how much money you've gotten and how you have spent that money, if you've spent that money. Okay. So let me go back to So now do you see the screenshot of the web page, the Treasury page? Is everybody seeing that now?
Yes.
Okay. So on this page, when you get here and you go to compliance reports, again, this is going to pop up. You've already done your NEU agreements and supporting documents. Then the other one and this one is the first one, project and expenditure report. Click the pencil, okay? And it's going to take you to this page, okay? Introduction and bulk upload templates. Now, here's the thing, people. This is what MML is recommending everybody do. This is what we are recommending everybody do. That when you report this ARPA money, you report it all as revenue replacement. Okay? Don't worry about infrastructure. Don't worry about anything else. You report it in here at this point as revenue replacement or revenue loss. Okay? A couple of reasons why. Number one, the final rule, when they issued the final rule, which became effective on April 1st, you can take what they call the standard allowance of up to $10 million, not to exceed your allocation, and count it all as revenue loss, and you don't have to prove a thing. You don't have to go through a calculation, nothing. You can just say, I'm going to take the standard allowance and claim $10 million, up to $10 million, okay? That the reporting then that you have to do is super simple, okay? The other thing it does is if you claim that, you can use it for any governmental service. What's a governmental service? Anything that's legal under the Missouri statutes, Missouri Constitution, or your local ordinances, okay? So if you want to do streets with this, you can now do streets with this. Okay? If you want to do parks with this, you can now do parks with this. If you want to do water and sewer, you can do water and sewer. Okay? By claiming it as revenue replacement, you can do anything you do as a city now, you can use this money for. It opens up the possibilities of what you can use it for. Okay?
COVID money.
I'm getting somebody's talking over us here. I'm gonna mute. Okay. So remember that, okay? Claim it as revenue replacement. I don't care what you spend it on, but claim it as revenue replacement. Now, the one thing that I think some systems are running into that you all need to be aware of, one of the allowable uses under the federal law was premium pay. And it said the federal law said you could back up to March 3rd of 2021 and pay your essential workers a premium of up to $13 an hour in additional pay. You cannot do that in the state of Missouri. Premium pay is not allowed. You cannot back pay somebody who's already completed the work and you've paid for it. So if you have used your money to back pay, quote unquote, premium pay for your employees, you probably need to contact your attorney and find out what you need to do, because under the Missouri Constitution, that is not allowed. Okay. So just a word of warning there. Okay. So everybody's going to count it as revenue loss. If you notice on this page over on the right-hand side, this is information from the Office of Administration that is pre-populated. And if you go down to the bottom there, it'll tell you how much ARPA money you're going to get, all total. It'll give you the total amount there. Okay, you got half of this amount already, and you're going to get half of it about 12 months when you got your first one. Okay, so this is the amount that you need to put into the box where it asks how much you're going to claim as revenue replacement. You're going to claim it all. Okay, right? On this page, you can go to Recipient Profile, which is the second item. You don't have to do anything on the first part. Recipient Profile and it will pop up this page. Okay. This is all of your information that you OA has already sent to Treasury. It's going to be pre-populated. Okay. Now, where people are getting mixed up or hesitated is that UEI number, right? You have to be registered in sam.gov to get a UEI number. If you are not registered in sam.gov, you need to get registered in sam.gov because you're going to have that before you get your second allocation of ARPA money. I think Amy sent us an email. Most of you should have gotten it from the Office of Administration. Right, Amy? Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
And that email said you've got to have that number before they're going to, and send it to OA before you can get your second allocation. So if you have ever gotten a USDA loan or grant, you are registered in sam.gov. Okay. So you need to figure that out. If you've never gotten any federal money, you may not be. If you notice down here, the next section here, it asks, well, it asks if any of this above is not correct. You can type it in that box, but then it says, is the recipient registered in sam.gov? And it's a yes or no. Okay. If you answer no, it's going to open up a bunch of other things, I think. But you will need to go to sam.gov and get registered, get your entity registered. Okay. So you need to do that. In the near future, you do not need that right now to submit this report though. Okay. So you don't need to do it today. Okay. I would get this report submitted. Okay. And then down here, it gives you your point of contact list and you can actually edit that there. Okay. And then if you go on further down that page, it says no projects verification. Now, if you have not spent any of your ARPA money yet, you want to click this box and say, my jurisdiction does not have any projects to report. And then in the next box, they're going to want to know why. And you can just say, the city has not made a decision on specific projects for the ARPA funds at this time. That's all you got to say, right? Don't go into a big long explanation. That's not what they want. Okay. If you say, yes, you have projects to report, then you've got to go up and set up, fill out a project expenditure report. Okay. But if you haven't spent any of your ARPA money, that's it. You hit save and you submit it and you're done. That's pretty much all you have to do. Okay. You don't have to do, you're not going to have, if I go back up here to the menu, there's sub recipients and sub awards. You will, if you claim revenue replacement, you won't have to do any of that. Okay. You don't have to do any of that. So let me go back to my PowerPoint. Okay. So again, project expenditure report, you click on the pencil, it's going to pull those funds up. If you haven't spent any funds, select the proper response on that page that I just showed you. Okay. And pretty much you're done. You're done with your reporting then, right? Amy or Val,
yeah.
Y'all done anything different? Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. And there's the next page pulls up the certification, you certify it. That's where you may get the message that you're not an authorized representative. You may have to contact Treasury to get that fixed. Okay. But otherwise you're done. That's it. You're good to go. Okay. Well, I'm sorry.
It was easy to get through that time.
You got to do the specific. I got to show you one more thing. Okay. I say that, but, okay. So let me see if Val's page showed that. So there is so on the right-hand side on the menu, if you go down, there's something called Recipient Specific.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You will need to click on that. Okay. That's not what I want. Here we go. No, that one's not. We just talked about that one. That's subrecipients, beneficiaries, or contractors. Actually, you won't have that if you claim revenue loss. Okay, you won't have to do that one. Subawards of direct payments, you won't have to do that one. If you claim revenue loss, won't have to do it. Okay. The next one is that subawards, won't have to do it. Here's expenditures. Don't have to do that one. You won't have to do payments to individuals. Okay, revenue replacement, where it says recipient specific, you will do this one. Okay, so you're going to do, you're going to look at your profile. You're going to do project overview. We'll get to that in a minute. And you're going to do recipient specific. Here is where you say, it says, is your jurisdiction electing to use the standard allowance of $10 million not to exceed your total award? You say yes. Okay. The next box is where, yes, you're electing the standard allowance. It wants to know how much you're claiming. You put this amount in it that's over on the right-hand side. You put the whole amount in there. Were fiscal recovery funds used to deposit into a pension fund? The answer is no. That is not an allowable use. It should always be no. And then this is providing an explanation of how the revenue replacement funds are allocated to government services. So if you know what you're going to spend it on, that's fine. You know, if you're going to do a water sewer project, I would just say we plan to use, or we are going to use ARPA funds to make improvements to our water and sewer system, or we're going to use the improvements to improve streets or public works services. You don't have to be specific. They want this like 50 to 100 words, a couple of sentences. That's all they want here. Okay. Just generally, what are we going to do? Okay. And government, again, government services or anything the city does, right? Any service you provide, any public works you do, those are all governmental services. So you can just put a little blurb there, okay? That is your recipient specific information. And that is where you tell Treasury we're going to use it all as revenue replacement, okay?
But it is important to note that if you're going to break it out, you really don't, you're going to have a project for each thing, even in revenue replacement. So if you're going to use $10,000 here and $20 here and $30 here, you're going to have to make all of those separate projects later on. So you really want to do a couple of big things, not nickel and dime in it.
Right. So yeah, Val's right. So what and Mamil's saying the same thing. So let's say you're going to spend it on water system improvements. Okay. You can have a lot of little expenditures all under water system improvements project. Okay. You don't have to have a project for the treatment plant versus the distribution system, you know, versus the well or whatever. You can put it all under water project. Okay. And then spell out your individuals. So, so let's see, Val, you didn't do a project page, did you? Because you haven't spent any funds yet.
Correct. All of my money is still pending.
Okay. So if you have spent money, okay, let's go back to the original menu here. Okay, let's go. Here we go. There is a menu item over here that says project overview. Okay, you will click on that. Okay, and it'll open up a page for you to put your projects in. Okay, again, what they're saying is that if you can spend it on a couple of big ticket items, that's probably the best, easiest way to do it. Okay, is do a big project with it and report it that way. If not, then the fewer projects you open up, the easier it's going to be. Okay. I asked in the webinar yesterday, so I want to do some water improvements, I want to do sewer improvements, and I want to do street improvements. Can I just do one project report and call it capital improvements project? The opinion of the presenter was you could, probably not what Treasury wants. You would probably want to divide that up into a water project, a sewer project, and a street project, and have 3 different projects under your revenue replacement. But he said, really, there's very little guidance on that. So if you just want to do capital improvements projects for the city, you can do that, okay, on that page. Now, let me get back to my PowerPoint. Let's see. Amy, are you seeing people coming into the waiting room? Can you make sure they get admitted? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So back to my PowerPoint. Does everybody see my PowerPoint? Again, yeah. Am I back to the PowerPoint?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So if you haven't spent any funds, you don't have to worry about the project expenditure report yet. But if you have, if you've obligated or spent funds, so this means obligated means you've made a commitment to pay, like you've ordered a bunch of equipment, you haven't received it yet, so you haven't written the check, but you're on the hook to pay it. That's an obligated. Those are obligated funds. If you've signed a contract for some type of construction, but you haven't paid the contractor yet, you've got an obligation. Okay. So if you've obligated money or you've spent funds, then you need to go to this project expenditure report page. Okay. Select the correct response from the drop-down box, scroll down and click add a new project. Okay. And a new screen will appear. There's going to be 2 boxes you have to that are dropped down. One is a category group box. You want to select number 6, revenue replacement, for that. And the next box is category expenditures, and you want to select 6.1, provision of governmental services, for that one, on those 2 drop down boxes. Okay, so we're talking about the project expenditure page. Okay. Now then it's gonna have on the spreadsheet, it'll have project A, project B, project C, and you can fill in for each one however many projects you have, and you can even add new projects. But there's a couple of boxes there. They want a project name. This is whatever you want to call it. Okay. Capital improvements projects. A project ID, some kind of identifier. Again, that is something you come up with. There's no magic to that. Whatever you want to put in as an ID. You name your projects and your IDs. The budget box, you don't have to fill out. Budget's not required for cities under 250,000 population. So you don't have to worry about the budget box. Provide information on obligations and expenditures. Okay, that's going to be pretty self-explanatory, I think. So, and then you should not have. There's a box for income if your project generates income, which I don't imagine why you would generate income. You shouldn't. You know, you're not going to create a revenue project. I don't think. If you figure out how to do that, let me know. But should not be any income to report or income and expenditures to report. They want a brief explanation of the project in the box. Again, improvements to the wastewater collection system, improvements to the water distribution system. Okay, they don't want specific, really detailed stuff here. Okay, type of project, number of people benefited, the whole town, the entire population of 636 people will benefit from these improvements, and the outcome is a more sustainable water system or something to that effect. Again, you don't have to get super detailed in this, okay? Example, this is a capital improvements project that will impact the total population of 516 residents by providing sustainable wastewater service. Okay, that's what they're looking for. All right, so this is your project expenditure page once you start obligating and spending your money. Okay. Again, can't emphasize enough, categorize all your money as revenue replacement. It makes your life so much simpler. Okay. And provides you the greatest flexibility as far as the use of your funds. Okay. So once you get the project page and you submit it, then it goes down to recipient specific. We just went over that. That's where you tell it you're going to use it as revenue replacement. You put the full amount of your ARPA allocation in there from on the right-hand side of the page. And select no for the question concerning pension funds, and then a brief statement on what you're going to use your ARPA funds for. Okay. So it's pretty self-explanatory. Don't overthink this. Okay. Don't overthink it. Now, again, like I said, the amount that you'll put in that box for revenue replacement is the amount that shows on the right-hand side of your page. That was your ARPA allocation. If you got more money from the county, do not add that to it. You're just going to put the amount that's on that page. Okay. Then you click next to proceed to the certification page. You'll enter your name at the bottom and click submit. He will ask you to confirm that you want to submit it. And if it goes, you're done. Okay. If you get the error message that you're not an authorized user, then you need to back up and find out who that is, or contact Treasury to get that changed from that email or that phone number that we gave you further back on the slide deck. Okay. Okay. Amy's Dickman's information is here. My information is here. I didn't put Joe's information, but you could go to our website and get Joe Anstein's information. He's been helping with this also. So we are here to help you, get you through this process. If you need some help, feel free to contact us. Okay. But do not wait till the last minute. Okay. Start working on this now and get this done. Because if you have to request your documents from OA or you have to request help from Treasury, you've got to have time to get that done. Okay.
Yeah, that ID number's been like that UEI's been the big holdup.
Right. But you don't need that for this reporting.
No.
Okay. So go ahead and get your report.
Let you submit it without it.
Yeah, you can submit it without it, but you're going to need it. Like the email from OA said, you're going to need it before you get your second half of your allocation, and you're going to need it next year when you do this reporting. So, so I don't know. You guys can differ with me, but I wouldn't worry about the SAM registration right today. I would get this report submitted and then work on your SAM registration or SAM information. The other thing about SAM.gov, you guys, and some of you may have seen this, you get emails, you get postcards from companies saying your SAM registration is due for renewal, send us $500 and we'll do that process for you. Don't do that. It is free. You do not have to pay to get your SAM's registration done or to renew it. Okay. So don't fall for that. That is a free thing to do. And let us know. We'll help you with that. We'll help you wade through that. But don't pay somebody to do that. You don't need to do that. So,
Liz, do you want to do any of the questions on here? I've answered some of them as I went.
Yeah, I can't see them until I stop share. So I stop share. Okay. So what are some of the questions we've had? Who is the contact for changing the point of contact? That is Treasury. And that is SLFRP at treasury.gov. Let me see. It is, hang on. SLFRP at treasury.gov is the email address to send an email. I think that'll probably get your quickest response. Okay. Somebody asked about the webinar be posted again. We are recording this. It will be posted probably next week sometime before Andy gets it posted. The PowerPoint, we're going to post to our downloads section probably later today. So you can go to downloads and get a copy of the PowerPoint, which has that email address, that phone number, and those websites included in it. Okay. Yeah, and we will convert it to the PowerPoint to PDF so that everybody can upload it and print it out. So you don't have to have PowerPoint to do it. Okay. What are some other questions? Print the PowerPoint. Well, we'll put it in PDF form so you can print it out. Okay. What's some other ones?
This one says, so if we have spent some funds but claim replacement, do we have to do the projects report tab?
Yes. If you've spent money, you have to claim it as a project, and you have to define your project. Okay. Now, it doesn't mean, if like I say, if you're doing a sewer project and you're gonna spend some more money on that sewer project, when next time when you go to report, you'll come in and edit that project report, the way I understand it, and just add to it. You wouldn't create another one. Okay. But yeah, if you spent money, you've got to create a project report for it. Okay.
If you claim revenue loss, is there a timeline to spend the funds?
Well, yes, there's a timeline to spend the ARPA funds, period. It doesn't matter what you claim, but you have until December 31st of 2024 to get all of your funds obligated. So get them obligated by 2024. You have to have them spent by December 31st of 2026. And those two aren't exclusive. If you don't have your funds obligated by December 31st of 2024, you're going to have to send it back. So either have it spent or have it under contract by December 31st of 2024. Then you have to actually have it spent by December 31st of 2026. Okay.
This one says, can you use on premium pay without backdating?
Well, I don't know what, but so what the Missouri premium pay. So what the Missouri Constitution says is you cannot increase pay for an employee who you have already paid for work completed. Okay. So, I know some systems do this at the end of the year. They give their employees a $500 bonus at Christmas. Can't do that. You're paying for work already completed and paid for. Can't do that. Now, premium pay, if you start like today, and I'm going to increase premium pay, I'm going to increase pay, I think it's up to $13 an hour, for my employees from this point forward, they haven't completed the work. So you're basically giving them a pay raise. That's what you're doing. Okay. You're giving them a pay raise. That you can do technically. I would still call it revenue replacement because you get into premium pay reporting for this, and it's a nightmare. But you can't go back and back pay them for work that's already been completed. Okay. And you never could in Missouri. It's unconstitutional.
This one, does interest income count?
No. I'm going to say no.
I was going to say interest in the bank. Yeah.
Yeah. You can earn interest on this money. If you put it in the bank and put it in an interest-bearing account, you can earn interest on it. In that one page, if you remember, it asked if you had program income, but I think that was from a project. But no, you don't. You would use the amount that's on the page on the website when you're pulling up. It'll give you your total ARPA. That's the amount of money you put in the box. Okay.
This one's, I'm still pretty new as a city clerk, so I have to locate the documents that the previous clerk submitted. Can you tell me what year and month this would have been started?
Well, I think what you need to do, instead of that, just email OA. And I have that
it was in that email.
In the PowerPoint, it's ARPA, capital letters, ARPA at oa.mo.gov, and tell them you need copies of the documents submitted for the ARPA allocation, and they'll send them to you. Okay. So that's all you need to do. So I don't think you have to worry about the date and all that kind of stuff. So just send it to them. Okay. What else do we have? How should the explanation of how revenue replacement funds were allocated if we were using the funds for several projects? Well, on your project expenditure report, you can divide them up into separate projects, and you would list them on that project page as separate projects. And I think when you get to that page, it'll become pretty self-evident what to do. I don't know what kind of projects you're doing, but if you can do that, if you want to list them out as separate projects, or if you want to lump them under, like I said, a capital improvements project, and you can do water, sewer, streets, whatever is capital improvement. But you can set up as many project pages as you want and report the expenditures under them. Okay. Again, you can just drive yourself batty by setting up all these little projects. I would lump them under major categories. You know, you're doing water work, you're doing sewer work, you're doing street work, you're doing community park work, community center work, whatever. Okay. And but if you can wait and do big lump sum payments, that's the best way to spend this money. Easiest way to report it. Mm-hmm. So there's another question on interest earned. Just use the base revenue in your reporting. Listing revenue loss, can we now include maintenance such as sludge removal in the project? Yes, you can. Okay, because that's a government service, right? You provide wastewater service. So yes, you can under revenue replacement. Okay. Who do we contact in OA about issues with the email or ARPA funding notice went to? I would say you would contact, if you want to contact OA, you would go to that arpa.oa.mo.gov, send an email to that email address, and ask there. Okay. Comment about premium pay. You mentioned asking our attorneys. Our attorneys reviewed the premium pay and said, yes, we could use it for that. They explained it was federal money, not state of Missouri money. I disagree. MML disagrees. It may be federal money, but they're state and federal and local employees. And the Constitution says public employees in Missouri cannot be given premium or bonus pay. So it's not a matter of the source of the money. It's a matter of who's employed. Okay. And they're employed by the local or state government. So I respectfully disagree with your attorney's opinion there. And you can talk to MML. They agree with that. Okay. So Parma, I've uploaded my documents for ARPA, but they still show as a draft. Am I doing something wrong? I don't know whether it would be a draft if you sent, oh, are you talking, so this is, I assume this is Laura is this Laura from Parma? Are you talking about on the Treasury website is showing as draft? Or, the documents from OA. I'm not sure what you're talking about there. But if you put all three into one document, you're going to have to separate them somehow, because on the Treasury website, it's got a place to upload the terms and conditions. It's got a place to upload this Title VI civil rights assurances, and it's got a different upload for the budget. So you can't upload them in one document. You've got to have three separate files to upload. Okay. Question, can we buy a police vehicle with ARPA money? Yes. If you list it as revenue replacement, you can. Can we do street vehicle repairs with ARPA money? Yes. If you classify it as revenue replacement, you can. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So Laura, okay. Again, if you list it as revenue replacement, anything the city would normally spend money on, you could spend the ARPA money on. Okay. Just be aware of how you're going to classify that on the project expenditure report, so you just don't drive yourself nuts filling out all these project reports. Okay. Okay. Any other questions? Amy, did I miss any that you see?
No, there's no. That's I'm
No?
at the bottom.
Okay. Well, there's Ashley asked, what if the city county gave money to nonprofit small businesses? This would not be reported under government services, correct? I would call it revenue replacement, and then you can spend it on about anything. Okay. Okay, I'm just going through the questions to make sure we got them all.
I sent some.
Yes, you report the total amount, not just your first payment. What, Amy?
I said I've sent a few people messages too, so I kind of picked through for a while.
Okay. Somebody asked if we'll email the recording. We will not email the recording. Andy will probably send out an e-newsletter when it's available with the link on. It'll be a YouTube recording. It'll have the link in it. So if you're not, what I want to say, signed up for our e-newsletter, you need to go to our website and get signed up for that. That's how we will let you know when it's available and wherever the link is. But no, we won't email that out. So we could make improvements to our community building a new roof with the money. Yes, you can. As long as you call it revenue replacement. You bet.
Yep.
Yeah. So you definitely want to call it revenue replacement, and you can spend it on a lot of things that way. Okay. Small amount of ARPA money spent for Lagoon, no projects decided on. Can we still say we are undecided about projects? If you spent the money before March 31st of 2022, you need to report it. And again, if you anticipate spending more on wastewater stuff, I would set your project expenditure report up for wastewater system improvements. And that way you don't have to set up another expenditure report for wastewater expenditures, right? Just kind of sit down and think about it and think where you might spend it. But if you spent it to date, you've got to report it. Okay. Yeah. If you spend it up till March 31st, you've got to report it as spent. Okay. All right. Any other questions? Okay. Is there any list with examples on what you can spend the money on? No, there isn't. But again, if the city would normally spend money on it, you can spend this money as long as you call it revenue replacement. So, but no, the Treasury Department was deliberately very broad and vague on what quote unquote governmental services were, because it varies by state, but basically if you could spend money on it regularly, if the city had the money, you could spend the ARPA money on it. Okay. Any other questions? So Val, thanks for all your help and your assistance in sharing. I am going to put Val's file in the chat box so that you can share, so you can see it. Let me do that. Shoot, let me find it. Hang on. So that'll be available if you want to see oh gosh. Of course, it's not there when I want it. Hang on, let me see it. Any other words of wisdom? Like Val, you've already done yours.
You'll notice that on my example, I did my sam.gov after I had already done my report. So, you'll see that I was registered with SAM, but I hadn't went and got my UI and all of that. But I did finish all that up after the fact.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So yeah, you don't need your SAM or your UEI to file this report, but you will need to get that. And sorry guys, I'm just having trouble getting the right thing to come up to post that file. Okay, well, we will post that. I'm not getting the right options here to put that up. But we'll put it on our download section also then. And you can go to downloads and get the sample screenshots, and you can go to downloads to get a copy of the PowerPoint. Okay. All right. And give us a call if we can help. Okay. All right, everybody. Thanks. I'm sure we'll be talking to you.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks everybody for joining in.